Welcome back, everybody. It's Brett here with part 2 of the Wisdom Wednesday. We're covering CPI and Gap today. We're putting these two together because Gap kind of picks up where CPI left off. So if CPI is the insurance portion covering the retail value of your assets, then Gap is what's going to cover any deficiency that you may have after that. But first, before we go into the different types of Gap, let's talk about the 2 reasons why we might want to consider Gap. The first reason is, if you're not doing it right now, a lot of you, in the event of a total loss, if there is a deficiency balance, let's think about what you're doing with it right now, right? Some of you are just charging it off. Maybe you're not doing bad debt collection like we talked about. You're unable to roll the amount into a new loan because it just wouldn't make sense for the customer. So if you're doing all those things, and at the end of the day, you're just making that balance disappear, you're not reporting it, you're not going after it, you're offering free Gap already. So why not charge for it? The second reason to think about Gap as an option for your buy here, pay here dealership is the rate at which cars are being marked as totaled right now. The cost of repairs of our vehicles nowadays is significantly higher than it used to be. The technology involved, the components involved. So even minor impacts are resulting in total losses from an insurance company. And that means your customer is now without a vehicle. And we need to find better ways with like CPI and Gap to protect your finance companies and protect your dealerships from losses, but also make sure that we're doing right by our customers and maintaining those good payers in our portfolio. So something to think about there. Now let's talk about the 2 different types of Gap. The first type is going to be traditional Gap product. Walk away, someone else's Gap, third party, where essentially you are selling that product to your customers. Maybe you're marking it up and making a little extra profit on it, but ultimately there's a Gap product that you're selling and somebody else is assuming the risk for it. So, Gap company ABC is filing the claims. They're determining the cost of that product, what you're going to pay for it or what your customer is going to pay for it. They're in charge of the claims process. They're even in charge of the percentage, right? Most buy here, pay here Gaps are going to be about 125%, which depending on your inventory and your loan amounts, even after, CPI or insurance, it may not be enough. So those are, so is it a good product? Yes. Can you use it in a buy here, pay here environment to protect yourself from losses, reduce your charge off, and help your customers out? Of course you can. So that's one option. The second option is going to be the reinsured option, which is basically what this whole series is about, focusing on reinsurance and its different components. So with Reinsured Gap, it works essentially the same, right? It's picking up where CPI or full coverage left off. But when you're reinsuring your own Gap, you have the ability to decide on what you're going to cost, even your percentages. So someone like Buckeye will work with you to determine, based on your ACVs, your loan sizes, your loss ratios, how many total losses you're having, total dollars, what's the right amount for you to reserve for every car that you sell to send to that reinsurance company where it sits to pay claims with those same tax benefits, with those same capital gains benefits, to accomplish the same thing that the traditional Gap does, which is to reduce losses, eliminate deficiency balances, have more control over the entire process, and keep your customers paying. So with Reinsured Gap, the percentage you get to have some say in as well. So maybe it's 125%, maybe you choose to do 150, maybe you're just say, hey, whatever the remaining balance is, we're going to go ahead and pay it off. And that claims process becomes simpler because now you're basically dealing with yourself again, just like with CPI. So you have some more options there. So hopefully between talking about CPI and Gap and ways to reduce your losses and also potentially generate some additional revenue for yourself, we've given you some things to think about. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me. Check out our website, reach out to me by email, whatever works for you, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks again and have a good rest of your day.